Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. In this video, we're taking a look at the Shure MV7 USB and XLR microphone. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, the Shure MV7 is kind of like the younger sibling of the SM7B. It's not as good as that legendary SM7B, but it is a little bit more versatile. The MV7 has USB and XLR. Now, the MV7 is designed for vocals, for podcasts, for gaming, for singing. It's not really designed to be used on instruments. Some of the features of the MV7 are voice isolation technology, auto level mode, live stream ready, customizable sound signature, real-time headphone monitoring, touch panel control, and mic stand compatible. Now, taking a look in the box here, and we have another box. Opening up that box, and the very first thing I see is a quick start guide. There's also a really weird piece of cardboard here letting me know to download the software. I don't know why this just wasn't in the quick start guide. There's an included micro USB to USB-C cable, so you can plug this into a laptop or a phone pretty easily. And it does pain me that this microphone uses micro USB still. I mean, we're in 2021 here. Also included is a standard micro USB cable. Now, it is worth noting that both of these cables are fairly long. Shure was generous in their length, and I do appreciate that. And last up here, we have the beautiful Shure MV7. On the back of this thing, you can see that micro USB port, the XLR port, as well as a headphone jack. On the one side here, you can see the mute button. On the other side, we have a toggle button to toggle between the microphone and headphone for monitoring. On the top here, we have the touch slider for the volume, and on the bottom we have a threaded base, and there is an adapter here, so it should work with a lot of different microphone stands. And for those that are curious, here is what the microphone looks like without its clothes on. Now, this microphone does require a stand of some sort. It's not really freestanding, so if you wanted to use a boom arm attached to the side of your desk, you absolutely can. For this video, I'm just using a desktop microphone stand here, and I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to check it out. This on-stage mic stand has almost like a cast iron base. It's incredibly heavy. And here's what the MV7 looks like when it's attached. Now, here's a quick demonstration of the touchscreen controls. I found the mute button and the monitor button to work extremely well, but this volume slider I found to be a little bit imprecise. It was a little difficult to lower the volume down to a certain level, and also difficult to increase it all the way. I found that it wasn't overly sensitive, and it was a little bit frustrating. I do like, though, how the LEDs change color depending on the volume that you're adjusting. Another cool feature with the LEDs is the night mode that's available in the software, so you can toggle the brightness of the LEDs from very dim to very bright. And the last cool thing about these LEDs is that they can be used to monitor your sound, which is amazing. Although the MV7 is technically plug and play, to get the absolute most out of this microphone, I do recommend using the Share Plus mode of desktop software. It's absolutely free, and I'll leave a link in the description below. Now, if for some reason you don't want to manage your microphone through this software, that is absolutely fine. At least pick it up for the firmware updates. They are absolutely free and could improve performance. Now, throughout this video, you've been listening to me through an Electro Voice RE20. This microphone here is the main microphone on this channel. It's a dynamic microphone, just like the MV7. But this one only does XLR, so I have it running through a Scarlett Solo into my computer. I'm not using any vocal processing whatsoever. It's pretty much just the raw audio. I'll flip it up now to the MV7 and you can hear the difference. So I switched over to the MV7 and you're listening to me through default settings. I haven't changed anything at all except for the mic gain. I did have to turn that down a little bit. I'm using USB and it is a little loud. So I just wanted to make sure everything was balanced out with the RE20. We'll go over some settings now and see if there's a difference. So I've got a website up behind me here. It's theaveragetourist.com. It's actually my wife's website. So if you want to check it out and learn more about traveling, by all means, check it out. What I'm going to do is actually read some of her blog post here just so you can get a sense of how this microphone sounds. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is go through the equalizer settings just to give you an idea of what each setting does. We'll turn on the high pass filter and I'll start reading. Las Vegas, also known as the Sin City or the city that never sleeps, is an incredible destination no matter your interests. If you're into museums, shows, casinos, drinking, shopping, shooting guns, nature, or anything else, you can probably find it here. Now let's turn on the presence boost. We've been to Vegas a few times, and before I left, I couldn't wait to come back. This list doesn't even come close to mentioning all the Las Vegas attractions, but here are 30 different options to help you plan your own trip to Las Vegas. Now let's check out the high pass and presence boost. If you have any other attractions or activities to add, please let me know in the comments section below. The first attraction you should add to your list in Las Vegas is to visit the Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign. What I'll do now is turn it back to a flat equalizer and turn on the limiter to see if you hear a difference. When we visited, there was quite a long line to take turns taking photos in front, but it actually moved pretty quickly. The sign is located south of Mandalay Bay, so it is about a 15-minute walk from inside Mandalay Bay, or about a 2-minute drive. Parking was free at this attraction. So I've turned off the limiter and I'll turn on the compressor to see if you hear a difference. We'll start out with light. This is a must-do attraction if you are in Las Vegas. The Neon Museum is a non-profit organization that is dedicated to collecting and preserving the historic neon signs of Vegas. I'll flip up to medium. Here you will find numerous historic signs on display from years gone by. There's an outdoor boneyard that gets illuminated at night for evening tours, and you can also explore during the day. I'll flip up to heavy. Volunteers walk around and are very knowledgeable about the signs, so you can ask them any questions about neon signs and Vegas history. Now I'm going to turn off the compressor. We're going to go over to auto level here just to check out the other features. The first thing, I'll just check off mic mute here and see if you can't hear me at all. Now let's check out the mic position. So currently I am only a couple of inches away from the foam on this. I do have it off axis, and that's to help prevent plosives. But we'll do a plosives test as well. So this is how it sounds in near mode. This is how it sounds when I'm directly talking into the microphone. And if I did something like popsicle, it might pick up that plosive. And that's just the popping sound into the microphone. Speaking off axis really helps out with that. I'm going to move it to far now to see if you hear any of that as well. So it should be probably pretty loud. I'll move away from the microphone and say popsicle. It should also probably be picking up quite a bit of echo now. This room does echo quite a bit. The closer you get to the microphone helps reduce that. But in an event where you can't get that close to the microphone, this is how it's going to sound. I wouldn't recommend necessarily going too much further away from your microphone than this. You introduce a whole bunch of extra noise that you're probably not wanting to get. And also probably some clarity in my voice. And I'll go back up to the microphone here, click it back into the near setting, and see if you hear a difference now. Now let's talk about the tone. So throughout this video, you've been listening to me in the natural tone. I'll flip it over to dark here. If you have access to a vehicle or feel like renting one for the day, then you should visit the Red Rock Canyon. This conservation area has a scenic loop to drive and experience the canyon in all of its glory. I'll flip it over to bright. There is a visitor center with more information about the area, and once you're done there, you can begin the drive through the scenic loop. Along the way, there are scenic lookout points and hiking trails. Now let's check out the proximity effect with the MV7. We tested on this a little bit earlier with that mic position between near and far, but now we're really going to see what happens when I get close up to this microphone. Right now I'm about 2 inches away from it. It is off axis to help prevent against plosives. I'm going to turn my head so I'm facing directly into the microphone, talking directly into it here. And I'm going to go right up to the microphone. You should hear quite a bit of a difference in my voice. I'm going to be almost eating the foam at this point. Hopefully the plosives aren't too bad at all. I'm trying my best not to breathe too heavy into the microphone right now. But here is the sound as I move around this microphone. I'm not quite sure how it's sounding because I'm not monitoring my sound at this point. But I am going to move away and I'm going to go closer here in this near setting. Now, I don't normally talk into the microphone like this when I'm talking into my YouTube videos. I do like to have it off axis just a little bit. So here is the big difference between having it off axis a little bit and then speaking right up into the microphone. All right, so let's get into what I liked and what I didn't like about the Shure MV7. And I'm back on the Electro Voice RE20 just to give you a comparison on how it sounds versus my usual microphone. So what I liked about the MV7, first and foremost, is the software that comes with it. It's very easy to customize the microphone, very easy to tune things, very easy to set it up the way you want. The next thing I like on this is the build quality. It feels like it's built very well and it's not going to break easy. At least I hope it's not going to break easy. The second last thing I like about this microphone is that it's got an XLR port. I guess if you actually want to use it, I would say this microphone is much better suited for a USB application, but in the event that you want to use XLR, well, it's there. And the last thing I liked about the MV7, and probably the most important thing here, is I liked how it sounded. The MV7 did an excellent job rejecting background noise in my room and also helping reduce the echo. My room has a lot of echo. I try to sound treat it as best I can, but at the same time here, I'm still setting things up. It's taking a long time to set things up, but it is pretty echoey in here. And I am in the basement and there is a furnace a room away. And when the furnace turns on, well, I can hear it, but the microphone didn't. Now, moving on into things I didn't like about the MV7. First and foremost here is that micro USB port. Yes, from a technical perspective, it's absolutely fine. There's no issues with it. But it's 2021, we're heading into 2022. I mean, you've included a micro USB to USB-C cable. Why not just include a USB-C port on here and call it a day? Almost every other major USB microphone nowadays coming out are including USB-C ports, but you didn't. I mean, just upgrade, please. The second and last thing I don't like about this MV7 are the touch controls. Yes, it's nice to have them, but they didn't function the way I wanted. The volume buttons here, or the volume touch control, the slider, wasn't as sensitive as I wanted it to be. I had to try multiple times to get it to the volume level I wanted, and that was a little bit frustrating. It got to the point where I just set it and didn't want to touch it again. The mute button, though, it worked absolutely fine. Now, moving on into whether or not I'd recommend the Shure MV7 as an XLR microphone only. The answer is no. There are other options out there for roughly the same price, maybe a little bit more, like for example, the Electro Voice RE320, which I find blows the Shure MV7 out of the water, and it's only $50 more. Now, if you're looking at this for a USB microphone, that's where I would absolutely recommend this thing. At $249, the MV7 is not cheap, but at the same time, it sounds really good. The software that comes with it is amazing. It works very well. It's easy to use. It's very intuitive. Since this is a dynamic microphone, it's a little less sensitive than a standard condenser microphone. And as such, you get the great background noise reduction and also echo reduction. So at the end of the day here, if you're looking to get the best audio possible with a simple setup and configuration using USB, well, the Shure MV7 would be at the top of my list. You are paying a premium for it though. It's definitely not cheap, but you would be hard pressed to find something better. But anyways, that is all I've got for this video. Let me know your thoughts about the MV7 in the comments below. Let me know how it stacks up against the RE20. And let me know your thoughts on the options that it offered for configuration in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Thank you, everyone. Take care.